Hi there, it's Naomi here from Wellower Therapeutic Coaching, and as promised I wanted to bring you a bit more of an explanation about your freedom steps, which we're going to be going through together, and why it is that I feel it's such an important contribution to recovery, to bring together 12-step recovery process and internal family systems. So the first thing I wanted to say is that it's my mission for recovery to be a process by which we go from being blended with our parts to self-led. Now these are both internal family systems terms. Parts are basically the things that make us up. They're our multi-personalities inside. We're kind of all a mixture of different parts, parts that want this, parts that want that, parts that are in conflict and that can blend with us. And very, very typically when it comes to addictive compulsive behaviours, we have several parts that are quite in conflict and it's making us quite miserable. So for example, when it comes to overeating, a part that wants us to be super thin and diet, and another part that wants us to just have another slice of chocolate cake. Two parts jostling for attention and jostling to be the one to be in charge. And it can be the same for many of us, you know, parts that want us to be engaged in our addiction because it feels better and we're escaping from pain, and parts that really don't because it's annoying people and we're not able to hold down a job or be happy or whatever the consequences of our compulsive behaviour is. And so it's my mission to have 12 steps be very much a process of going from being parts-led, so blended with those parts, 1 minute feeling this, 1 minute feeling that, to being self-led, where those parts can start to relax and allow this self-energy to come through. And so Dick Schwartz, the founder of IFS, called this quality within us that we all have in bucket loads, self, because he noticed that as people's parts started to relax through the process of the therapy that he was delivering, they would start to report feeling more like myself. And self was something that wasn't a part, it was something that was within them in huge resources. Like you could never run out of this stuff. And it had qualities that, there are 8 of them, that IFS has identified 8 and has noticed that they all begin with C. Let's see if I can remember. They are curiosity, compassion, courage, clarity, connectedness, creativity, calm, compassion. I think I got them all. I'm sorry if I missed any out, but they're basically the good stuff. It's like love in action. And certainly when I worked through the 12 steps, there was some of that going on. I had access to a lot of love around me. People at my meeting loved me and wanted what was best for me. And my sponsor sometimes seemed like she loved me. I had some self-love for myself. I certainly wanted to get better. And as I went through the steps, I started to feel more of that love and let more in. But definitely there was a way in which my parts were working the steps. My parts were trying to do the spiritual process for me. And they wanted me to get thin and perfect and never ever again experience compulsive eating and kind of in some way not need to really rely on anyone in the future. Like, yeah, I'll borrow your help right now, but then, you know, later I won't need you, thanks very much. And so these steps, your freedom steps that I've created and that I'll be sharing with you video by video, are really kind of an offering to allow people to really feel the difference between what it is to work the steps from self-energy, to be self-led, and what it is to work the steps from parts. And so some of the questions that I've created for each of the steps is really to get a sense of that, you know, how much are we genuinely having our parts relax and allowing us to work through this spiritual process from self. So there are some other things I'd like to say about your freedom steps before we start them, and I'm going to be sharing a bit about them one day at a time, but this is really about being self-led as we go through recovery and what that means. So thanks very much. This is Naomi from Wellower Therapeutic Coaching signing out about your freedom steps for another day.